thought I would just put it on live. You guys can answer or ask any questions if you want, and just doing some cleanup. Might be noisy. All right. I don't know if there's a chat on here. If there is, I apologize. I'm working to figure out the live, so. All right. Yeah, if you throw up some questions, we'll try and answer them while I do some cleanup. All right. There's a question down here. It looks like brushless Ryobi hammer drill, boom or bust. I think the high performance Ryobi tools are kind of a what do you call it? It's going to come out of nowhere. The tools are cost effective. They work really, really well, and I've only got a couple, and I do see a benefit of them. Of course, the brushless is also a good thing. I'll be honest, 2 amp hour batteries, good for a drill, um, low consuming tools. So, drill, well, here, um, sprayer keeps it light. But anytime you're going to need more power, 4 amp hour, 6, 8, you're only going to be able to run that tool longer and stronger. So, someone asked about the paint sprayer. It is not a branded, but it does use the same batteries. Get one of these. This thing is phenomenal. Easy to clean. Fill it with water, swish it around, spray out. I got a bucket down here that I spray it into, and then I dump it into the garbage after. It has a dial on it to change the nozzle width. Of course, you can turn the nozzle depending on which way you're spraying. That's a great tool to have, and I wish it would be in a branded version as well. Get one of these. Did I say get one? Get one. All right. $100, I think it was. 120. Worth it. Absolutely worth it. If any of you have paid attention to the flag we're scorching, getting some burring bits for the rotary tool, must have. Sorry, I got a cold, so I mute just so you guys don't have to hear the, yeah. Woodworking tools. I had a few questions somewhere along the way, asking what's one of the most important ones to have. Calipers, especially for some of that fine detail. You can get these relatively cheap. You can lock them down to the position, almost like a compass. You can work with it pretty well. I think I paid $19 for this. It works pretty good. Of course, don't forget to turn it off. Otherwise, you know what's going to happen, right? But yeah. Do we have any other questions down here? Nope, not yet. What you guys don't normally see is across this wall here is I've got kind of all my stuff organized. I got a toolbox with stuff and shelves. I made a little pocket shelf for all my sandpaper. But what I found, I only put them in there when I'm cleaning up. When I'm using them, I pull them out. Anyways. Like I said, I apologize for muting in and out. Got a cold. So I picked these up. They're supposed to work. I'll show you. They're okay. There's a better alternative, but in a pinch, they work. But, you know, don't spend too much money on these. If you get them knockoffs or 3D printed, do that. There we go. Okay, that's somewhat tidy. If you look at some of the videos I've done, I do a comparison between these two trim rotors. And as you'll notice, I got two different bits already in them. So if you've watched some of the videos, some of the content, I don't like to change bits. I like to set my bit that I like to use. I don't mind dialing it down or up to get a different shape, different depth, whatever. But I like to have the tools preset, ready to use, especially as you're going through different components. Speeds up the process a little bit. Recently I did a video on these planes. Now, when I bought it on Amazon, I'm going to be honest, I thought this was bigger. That's what she said. I thought it would be bigger. But, you know, when you're working with any kind of wood, see, I had a piece here, right here. You know, sometimes you just want a little shaving off of it. And it does a pretty decent job. I think it was like 12 bucks. So if you don't have one of these little mini planes. I find it works really well for that. And if you drop it on the floor, it makes it even better. It works rather than the big jack planes. It gives you a little bit more control. The video I posted, I used the Japanese wood plane in a traditional forward motion. It's actually a pull. It's meant to be controlled. So, and you'll notice that because your hand can fit over this part. It gives more control of it. And again, same thing, right? Right? Look at that nice little edge. And on top of it, your shavings end up in the palm of your hand. So just thought I'd do a little reach out, little live, show you some things. Awesome tools to have. Oh, I got 1 thumbs up and 2 viewers. Hey, thanks for watching. I don't do live very often, so you know, have some fun with it. So right now, I've got some baseboards off the house. They come off regularly. And typically what I do when I do a baseboard installs, I'll use silicone, put them on the wall, and I'll put a couple tack screws in, and that'll hold them on. But what's happened here is between kids and dogs and whatever else, they do eventually pop off. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these nails out. I'm going to clean off some of this silicone on here, and then I'm going to reapply them back to the wall. So that's what I'm up to here so far this morning. So silicone's the best. At the time, all I had was white for these. I'll be changing that up and putting in translucent. The other way. Pull that a little bit. Small shop, you don't always have somewhere to put this stuff, right? So, hey, thanks for checking in. Just doing some touch-ups on things around the house that need to be done. Baseboards are one of them. They keep falling off, so I'm cleaning them up to put them back on, right? So I use a lot of Ryobi tools. I also use a lot of technology pieces like the CNC. I have a laser printer. So I'm trying to come at it as a merging using Ryobi tools, but also some technology in there as well. So have you disassembled the drill? Found out what's wrong with it? I'm going to be honest, depending on how much you spent for the drill, might be better time spent buy another one. Especially the one thing I can appreciate with Ryobi tools is they, oh, so you got a broken chuck. Okay. You can buy a replacement chuck, just so you know. So they have a great event usually coming up pretty soon, allowing you to maximize your tool amount with minimal dollars. So keep your eye out. And are the bits bent? So I can't tell you how many times I've dropped my drills. I can't ever see a time where my chuck bent. Now inside there, maybe, but I've dropped this from the roof onto concrete. I've dropped it onto wood, like deck. It's still going, so it might just be that particular one, maybe time to buy a new one. The one thing I suggest is create a graveyard for your tools. You know, ones that demonstrate, you know, so some of those points that have occurred where, because this one broke, I bought this one, but it's, you know, I have one, technically one. And it's this guy. This is my graveyard sander. So, works good as a wet dry. Watch some of the videos I think I've got there. Wet dry on this works really well to get those burrs off your polyurethane finish. It's a tip, but it's in my graveyard typically. I was recently using it, so I had it down there, but typically it just goes up in the graveyard. Oh, the impact driver. Oh. That guy? I don't know if you can get replacement parts. So there is a website through Ryobi. You can get all your replacement parts and make them up. Between shipping and paying for them, it might be easier just to buy a new drill, I'll be honest. Okay. Um, right? The googly eyes are, it's a reminder for me that what a joke, right? Now, some could say I'd put it on all of them, but maybe I will. But, um, this particular impact drill, much like the other one, I've dropped it off the roof. I've built tons of stuff with this guy, and I've had it for over 3 years. Actually, I think it's closer to 4. Um, I'd have to look back, but anyways, it's been a long time. My go-to. This is my go-to, and second to that, I'll go to my 1/2 inch as my backup. And you'll see I did a video on the drills and drivers, and yeah, I'm not going to rehash that, but it doesn't hurt to have multiple drills. Let me rephrase that entire perspective. The more drills you have, the less times you have to change your bits. So here, mostly I use a Robertson on this. When it comes to my drill, I'll use a Phillips. Then of course, I've got the little tiny one I'll use for IKEA or whatever, right? So Ryobi, flashback. I had DeWalt for a while. Okay. Fell for, cheap package, under $100 or whatever it was at the time. Inflationary raised that up probably $500 now. But I found that when I held it in my hand, it didn't fit. The ergonomics wasn't there. So with these, I feel way more like I'm packing heat. I don't know if that's a good way to explain it. Maybe it isn't. Maybe that won't help endorse. I'm just kidding. But I find it's easier on the hands. But the other one that a lot of people slam is the stick battery. It's always like that. I don't have to find it and then, bust my knuckles on the table. So, hey, thanks for subscribing. I appreciate that. Helps me keep going. I'm trying to get more content. Time is always a factor. See, multiple vacuums. And that's for cleaning up the little areas, right? I got another vacuum over there. I got a vacuum over there. Vacuums, almost as expensive as the tools. What else can I talk about? Oh, I got. Here's a cool tool. Outside the drills and everything, it's a glue gun. Still, Ryobi. What I like about this one is crafting. Now, okay, that might sound a little bit on the, what does that have to do with all this stuff, right? But once it's hot and charged, I can go do whatever I need to do, walk away from the base, come back, put in the charger. So it works great for kids as well. It never spills. This rubber tip never gets too hot that they can hurt themselves. And they get to use all the different colors of the rainbow for glue. So kind of a cool thing. When we talk about where Ryobi is compared to some of the other vendors and manufacturers, I mean, everything has a purpose. Do you have fun? Good luck. Bank account drives everything. Good thing to have. Well, we knew that was going to happen. Now, I'm not taking off all of it because I still need something to break up the thickness between the baseboard and the wall, because I'm putting it back. Just taking some of the thicker stuff off so it'll sit inward a little bit more. So I have a Bosch corded DeWalt battery, Ryobi battery operated jigsaw. Okay, now I like my jigsaw from Ryobi. I also have a bandsaw. Bandsaw is my go-to. Jigsaw is my backup. But I agree, especially the new Ryobi. I forget there's a particular term for it. It sits differently. It holds better in the hand. I don't have one. I was looking at it and drooling over it at the home improvement store. But definitely, if I use the jigsaw more, I would be that would be in trajectory. Um, because I use my bandsaw, number one, jigsaw follow up. I'm okay with where I sit, but as I go through, that is one tool. There's a couple others where I don't have multiples. So one of the other things that comes up regularly is this guy, caulking gun, battery operated. Dial up how much speed and pressure. So construction adhesive, large sheets, or kitchen sink, bathroom, just a little bead. So if you're looking for a tool that I think is the most underrated, and compared to the action of the other, is just simply a trigger, and you can lock it too. So I'll be using this today. See if we can do this. So that guy, he gets a star for how much wood he chews. He should be called a woodchuck. That guy, amazing. And blades, super easy to change out. Um, the dust extraction, make sure your vacuum has got a good suck to it, you know. It's important to have a good sucking mechanism, especially to make sure you get everything unclogged, because it's such a small throat. What ends up happening is it gets filled up and then it just clogs, and then you just get a whole bunch of backwash of wood. I'm muted. Sorry about that. It's good to have a couple of buckets around that you can dump your shavings into. So like I was doing some planing with some walnut, and so I keep a good chunk of the shavings from the planer for any fill. So when I'm, using walnut and I need to sand and make some walnut dust, I have walnut shavings so that I'm matching the color, or at least as close as possible. I find with a lot of the putty and pens that are out there, I can walk past it and see that that's a putty pen mark, and I don't like that. So yeah, but keep some buckets around you and toss all your big chunks in and throw those in the garbage at the end of the day, end of the week, end of the month, end of the year, or never. There's a couple of things you could do there, right? All right, so that's done. Cleanup's done, relative. Going to do some cleanup here later. What else can we talk about? I don't think there's much. Mini tools, it's always good to have. I put magnets on it so I can sit it up there. Like any small tool, right? If you can't see it, you're not gonna be able to use it. So, yeah. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna proceed and get this stuff all caulked up and get it into place and move on with the task. So, it's been a short live. I'll come back and do more, so subscribe. I appreciate that. And if you want to know anything or you want any specific video, talk about anything, message. Hey, I'm here with you guys. So, sometimes the tip is worth it. Sometimes not enough of a tip, right? But at the end of the day, whatever you guys are looking for, come ask. I'm here, and I'll try and do more of this. Engaging. I like this. This is nice. You guys are nice. So keep it up, and I'll keep it up too.